On Friday night, 60 million people around the world tuned in to watch Mike Tyson and Jake Paul hug each other for 16 minutes before each walking away with tens of millions of dollars. And in doing so, they created the perfect metaphor for the age in which we currently live. There are two things that define the current era. One, maladjusted boys using archetypal signifiers of masculinity to compensate for a world that has largely moved past them. And two, social media creating its own reality that has literally nothing to do with the actual reality that we, live in. The Tyson-Paul fight sits at the center of that particular Venn diagram. Jake Paul is a hyperkinetic C- student whose superpower is getting people to hate him and then monetizing that hatred. He has embraced boxing the same way that your dad's rich friend has embraced cycling, buying the gear right down to the tacky outfit, but without committing to paying his dues. For Jake, boxing isn't a passion so much as it is the perfect vehicle for getting the biggest payday possible out of how many people want to see him punched in the face. And that's fine. From the moment YouTube allowed for the dumbest kids from your high school to get famous bullying people, doing pranks, that they would one day start fighting each other was inevitable. Jake Paul's corner of the internet is a perpetual middle school classroom, and dudes calling each other out are a staple of any junior high. Where this becomes problematic for the general functioning of society is that middle school eventually is supposed to end. Being a middle school boy's vision of what a cool grown-up is was never supposed to be an actual job. You're supposed to be embarrassed of what you were in middle school, not filming the very worst version of it every day for clicks. In the past, this embarrassment would lead to growth and eventually some semblance of responsible adulthood. But when professional middle schooler isn't just a job, it's a multi-million-dollar career, why adapt and change? Why not double down on it?
Ayo, I'm Jake Paul from Bizarre Bar,
and you're watching me knock out Mike Tyson. Huh, no looker. Bah, bitch!
Nailed it!
The second point is easier to see. Just the idea that a 58-year-old former champion and a 27-year-old former Disney Channel star would ever produce an actual boxing match is ludicrous. And yet, we all got caught up in the videos and the memes and the tweets and the TikToks, and by the time Netflix's servers began to smoke under the pressure of all those households tuning in, we had talked ourselves into thinking that this was gonna be a real fight. We were as dumb as someone buying condoms from Temu. And yet, isn't this what we do again and again? Allow social media to make a reality for ourselves that understands the real world about as well as Jake Paul understands differential calculus? Some people did that in 2020, and that led to repercussions.
Breach of the Capitol! Breach of the Capitol!
Some people are doing it now in 2024.
So I just got through reading a duty to warn letter by Stephen Spoonemore, and I suggest if you haven't done so already, go Google it and read it. He basically breaks down step by step of how he believes that the presidential election was tampered with, hacked, interfered with to overturn the results of the election.
The Tyson-Paul fight, as a fight, is just a footnote in the history of boxing. But as a representation of the culture, it is sadly emblematic. I'm afraid our future will be more and more emotionally stunted boys over-promising and under-delivering.
But one way or the other, Mexico will pay for the wall.
Or maybe that'll be our present as well.